I see. Okay, so we're now live on the air. So we've got Emmy and Lainey and me. And today's topic is like the problem with how The Walking Dead writes for its people of color. So I thought we could start with maybe talking about things that we like about what they've done, and then we can get into the problems.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, and let me just post on Tumblr that we're starting it. So what do you think, Emmy? What do you like about what they've done?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, what I like. You know what? Come back to me, please.
Okay. All right, Lainey.
Well, yeah, I can tell you. I like the fact that the show has actually they have been being diverse, and I was thinking about it all throughout the day, and that for Robert Kirkman to create Michonne, because I'm her biggest fan, right? But for him to come up with a character like Michonne, as much as some of the things I don't like, I have to give him credit because he has put her as a main character, quote unquote. And I don't know. I like to believe that I'm up on a lot of comics, but I'm not. You know, I like comics, but I'm not an avid reader. But for this kind of comic, The Walking Dead, and for him to create a African American woman that is a badass, that has got to set some kind of precedence there. We've never seen anything like that, and it be you know, in the forefront of it. She's in the top 3. Put it that way. It's Rick, it's Carl, and it's Michonne. Even with the comics, it's the 3 of them. He's in a relationship with Andrea, and she may be number 4, but it's the 3. It's Carl, Rick, and Michonne. I haven't seen that in a popular quote-unquote comic as of yet. So I have to give him credit for that. I mean,
yeah, and
there's other.
I just want to add on to that point there. I did a little bit of research about the cast. So, like, just looking at IMDb, so I would say there are about 17 main cast members, including, like, Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride. So, out of those 17 main cast members, you've got Denai Guerrera, and you had Chad Coleman as and also Stephen Yeun, sorry. So they're the 3, like, out of the main cast, you have 3 people of color. And then you've got the series regulars, which I had about 17 or 18 people, which I kind of included Andrew J. West as, what's his face?
Garrett.
Yeah. Like, he's technically a series regular, but he was only in 3 episodes. So,
right.
And
it's very misleading. It's very misleading.
Yeah, and out of those, you've got about 10 people of color, and I also included, like, Martinez and Rosita, right? So if you look at the numbers, there's about 38% of the cast is a person of color, which is kind of like what it is if you looked at the census for the United States in 2010. It's about the same. So I guess in that way, it does kind of represent what it is. And
Right.
I think that's a
Right.
good thing because you've never really seen that on television before.
No, you haven't. That is that's one of the fascinating things about the show.
And yeah, I just remember at the beginning of season 5, I was kind of shocked to see like you have 5 like in the whole group, and you had lots of scenes with the whole group. Out of them, there were like 5 black people. So it was Michonne and Tyrese and Noah and Father Gabriel, and there was Bob as well. So yeah, that was something that I was really surprised and pleased to see on television.
Well, I think that they are what's getting ready to happen. At least in my mind, there's they're moving. I guess media. I guess you would say they're kind of moving forward. Now, I'm not avid. I haven't watched Orange Is the New Black. I've seen How to Get Away with Murder. I've seen Scandal. You know, but for whatever reason, I'm thinking that general audiences, quote unquote, are being more vocal in regards to, hey, I like the show, but it's not a real representation of what reality is. Reality is there are all kinds of people living in the United States in your neighborhood. I always make this analogy with regards to like Seinfeld. Love Seinfeld. Big Seinfeld fan. But there's no way you're going to tell me that you've got, how many was it, like 5 or 6 regulars living in Manhattan, and there are no people of color in your squad? That is crazy. That's crazy.
Friends had the same problem. Yeah.
They did the same thing with Sex in the City. They did the exact same thing with Sex in the City.
Yes.
So
yes. Or Friends. Friends, you live in Manhattan, where do they live, in Brooklyn, and you don't have no good buddies that are people of color, or not even good buddies, people that you interact with on a regular basis. That coffee house, you're going to tell me that all white people went there? So I think that people are, they like The Walking Dead because it is a broader representation of what the people in the area. I mean, and not even, I don't want to say quote, because even I still have a problem with Alexandria. I have family in Alexandria. I know Alexandria has a lot of black people there. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you got a whole safe zone and you got 1, 2, 3 black people there. Yeah, you're not going to tell me that. Yeah. That is a hub. Black people are in Alexandria, all right? So, but you know, like I'm saying, that with regard to the way they have people of color, and I want to make sure I use that because I'm not just saying that about black people. They don't have any people of Indian descent, Native American, and that's the other thing. That's the thing that pisses me off. Native Americans, I know people think that they're extinct, but they're not. They are here and they are in these areas. They really need to make sure to represent everybody. And of course, I'm glad they are representing African Americans, but they need to pull more diversity in there. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I agree, but I wouldn't know exactly how they're gonna do something like that because the cast is so big. I guess they would have to follow. I guess they would have to follow the direction of GOT, Game of Thrones. Like
I got my issues with Game of Thrones.
No. What I mean is they would actually have to take maybe an episode and focus on like the main characters. Like the episode, okay, one of the episodes can be of Rick, Michonne, Carl, and Daryl. And in that episode can be like Sasha, Glenn, Maggie, and that's episode 1. And then episode 2 would be Abe, Eugene, Rosita, and then Rick and Carl and Daryl. It has to be that you have to see the main character in that episode. You can't like leave us hanging like they did for season 5. I was upset when I didn't get any kind of Rick and Michonne kind of action in the first half.
I really don't think that Richonne, well, let me just put it out there. I said I was going to say this before we started. This entire week, I have been off the Richonne train. I was watching, forgive me, guys. I think I was watching Conquer in another episode, and I was like, no, they playing us. They not going to do Richonne. They not going to make it canon. So I just want to put it out there to everybody. I'm a flip-flopper. One week I see Richonne season, I'm like, yeah, it's going to happen. And another week I'm like, no, they just fucking with us. I'm not doing it. So I'm openly telling you, I'm flip-flopping until I get a confirmation. That's it.
No, they have to, or they'll never hear the ending of it from me on Twitter. Okay? No, you can't. You cannot give me this kind of season. You can't give me all these. Look at my eyes. See my eyes? Yeah. And these in my space. He's constantly in her space. No, you can't.
Well,
you can't give these kind of dialogues and then tell me that you're
I agree with you, Lainey. Like, I am very, very skeptical about what they're gonna do, and I'm not gonna believe it until it actually happens. But I kind of think that's a different topic for another day. Like, we could talk so much on the reasons why we think it could happen and then why we might not think it could happen.
You know what?
So
I'm sorry. I veered off topic, but I said that as far as with the discussion goes, I'm probably going to be veering more toward the negative side of Richonne this week because I've been feeling that way this week.
Okay. No, that is definitely a topic.
About, like,
I do want to get back on the fact that they have been. I'm sorry. I do want to discuss the fact on the way they have been treating the black or the male people of color.
Yes.
Like, I actually like Martinez. I really did. I like Martinez. And I actually thought that, maybe they were going to hold on to him for just a little bit longer. I find his death very unnecessary, believe it or not. Martinez left the governor. Okay, he and what was the other dude name? You know who I'm talking about. They left the governor because they know exactly what kind of person.
Schubert.
So you're gonna mean to tell me that you're gonna have Martinez drunk? Well, you can't tell me that you're gonna have Martinez drunk and talking to the governor like, oh, everything's all cool, when you know the governor holds everything over a person's head, and he's gonna like be all alone with him, shooting golf on top of the trailer. No, I didn't believe that. They just wanted like a kill, an unnecessary kill. So I was very upset about that.
It was
upset.
It was a very good kill. That scene there with Martinez and his face getting eaten off. I was like, I'm not a adrenaline junkie or anything like that. I was like, wow, that is.
See, you just answer it. You see, you just said that was a very good kill. That was just a thrill kill.
Yeah,
it was still unnecessary. It was still unnecessary. It was.
Yes.
Well, I would say that it was necessary because up until that moment, like I thought that the governor was still evil, but up until that moment, like I was still kind of hoping that like he'd actually changed. No. But after he did that, I was like, okay, he's still completely evil. There was no point in me even bothering trying to see whether the governor would change.
You know, so what in that way, I think going back, it was reverting when Lily daughter. When he made Lily's daughter his daughter Penny, it wasn't like,
of course there were hints throughout the whole thing that he was still evil, but I still kind of hoped that, and maybe it was really completely silly of me to even imagine this, but I kind of thought that, you know, if there would ever be any redemption for people, that maybe like having everybody that you know die and then like having a chance to survive again might change you, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Well,
I'm upset over Martina's death. I'm upset over Tyrese's death, and I'm very, very, very upset over Noah's death. If we can
Yeah,
break if we want to break it down, if that's fine, but you cannot tell me that you're gonna have Tyrese tell Noah, let me go in first, and
yeah.
not do a proper perimeter check. You know, we all saw the shadow in that room. We know it was a Jack and Jill bathroom. So it was easily that little Walker boy came from that other room through the bathroom, and you're gonna tell me that you're so like deep in like thought over these photos to get bit in the arm? No,
it's
no,
completely unbelievable.
it was.
It's totally unbelievable. However, what I will say is this: they, I know that Scott Gimple came along. What is it? He became showrunner season 4.
Season 4.
In season 3, they really messed up Tyrese's character. Now, I would have rather have had the, but as the season progressed, and Tyrese's character was he was just so, for African American male to be so, I don't even know so moralized. It did not come across as being believable to me, because he's a black man. He knows he's been oppressed. I guarantee you he's been oppressed. I don't see him coming across as being so humane that he refuses to kill any human being, so to speak. So that's one of the issues that I have with the show, in that they make it seem like, I guess the white cast members are just, they're that hard, or they are that survival instinct like. But it's like, come on. It's like, you got black people, you got Hispanic people, you got Korean people. No, they have known hardships. All right, they've known hardships. They know they know, even from recent history in their family history. They know what hard times like. White people, it's like, come on. It's like, y'all been living pretty good all this time. You don't really know necessarily what it's like to be oppressed on a regular basis. We know it. You take Tyrese, and just how Tyrese had described in what's happening, what's going on. He said, whether it's something happening across overseas or down the block, you got to be. This is what I'm talking about. So the character in the comic book seems more relatable to me, because Tyrese's character was hard. He didn't have no problem about killing bad people, zombies, nothing. He had no, but they made him,
and he had no problem getting in Rick's face, none whatsoever.
Right. They made Tyrese seem weak in the show, and I hate to say weak, because it's not really for Tyrese character. I can appreciate where he was trying to go with it, but it didn't seem realistic to me, because he's a black man. You grew up in the United States. Why would you trust the governor? Why would you trust him? Why would you trust the governor? So in regards to that, I do have a little bit of a problem with how they give the characteristics to the people of color. For example, who else? Well, we don't really know too much about Rosita. We know about Glenn, but I think they've given a good amount of edge to Glenn. I don't really know too much about Korean American.
Well,
what was that, Emmy?
No, they brought the Glenn that I liked when I met him in season 1, who was directing Rick out of the tank, they brought him back. Basically on the run with, that botchy run with Aiden. I mean, he took charge. And if they had all just listened to him, and when I mean all, I just mean Alexandria, if they had just listened to him, Aiden would have been alive, and that Nate, is it Nate? Whatever his name is, that abandoned Noah and Glenn in a revolving door like that, I think they all would have made it out alive. But Glenn, as a run leader, is amazing. It's like he knows what he's doing. It's like in and out, and I'm just glad that Glenn is back. Now all we need is for Maggie to come back, be focused, good. But
I agree.
yeah, I didn't like that he made that guy survive. That he didn't, But I know that's like another conversation for another day, definitely. But yeah, now that we're on the revolving doors, please don't get me get started on that one.
Well, okay. So I also researched
doors.
I also researched the number of black people in the show. So there are 13 black people, and out of them, only 4 of them are alive. So that's like 69% of them are dead, and that is a whole lot more than are dead out of the total cast. Like out of all of the people, it's about 50-50, and so that's a bigger percentage of people who have died have been black people, and out of those, it's been black men. And the way that they have died has been like the most horrific out of all of them.
Exactly.
And that is the big problem, I think.
Yeah.
Especially Noah's death.
I totally agree with that.
Noah's death is the worst, and it was completely unnecessary. The way that they showed it, it was horribly gruesome.
Yes.
And he was a young black man.
Well, okay, I'm gonna come at it with the devil's advocate. I'm gonna tell you the other side of it. Okay. All right. So if I am, how could I put this? So why, I don't want to say white people, but I guess the media, because it is predominantly white, are already ingrained with a certain mindset when it comes to people of color, anybody that's not white. Okay. And so in their mind, they're like, oh, just like I'm sure you've seen the article, no, we didn't go out of our way to pick a black Noah. We just picked the best actor. Okay. They may be of the mind that they're not even consciously recognizing the fact that, hey, you're sacrificing a lot of black males in this show. Do you realize that? Because they are so used to having such a predominantly white cast. I mean, just across the board, just like with the villains. Now, I'm sure that a lot of black people would have a problem with having a black villain. Oh, why you always got to make the black person a villain? But given the story, why wouldn't you have a black villain somewhere? Are you serious? There are African Americans that are survivalists or able to survive. Why wouldn't you have somebody who is black that is a villain? They've been dying to get into this world where they can have some kind of power or something like this. So when it comes to Noah, and I know what you guys are saying, it was gruesome and everything, but I think in their minds they're like, oh, we're just going with the best actor, and we picked him. He just happened to be African American.
I think that might be true, but my problem with Noah's death is that I don't even know why Noah was on the run in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I seem to be saying exactly.
He said he wanted to be an architect. He should have been in the construction crew. So it just like they chose him because he was an expendable character. And why is
And
he
they need
expendable?
somebody to die that episode.
Yeah, they needed someone to die, and they chose him because he's a black person.
Yes.
Well,
We need to say that, and we need to admit that. We need to say it and admit that, okay? Because did the governor die a gruesome death? No, he got stabbed by a katana.
No, but he died. But he died at the hands of a black woman. That is something that you've never seen on TV.
Okay, and that is fantastic. However, have we seen him got eaten alive by a walker? Have we seen him get eaten alive by a walker? No, we didn't. No. Have we seen Lori get eaten by a walker? Have we seen Lori get eaten by a walker? No.
No,
we didn't either.
No, we
but
didn't.
We did see Tyrese. We did see T-Dog.
Yep.
We saw T-Dog. Right. We saw him.
Okay, so then, how many white people have we seen turn into walkers? Have we seen any black people turn into walkers?
Are you talking about Noah's little brothers? Noah's little brother?
No. I'm talking about with the show across the board. Have we seen any people of color turn into walkers?
Like main characters or series regulars, do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we haven't really seen that many of the main characters turn into walkers because they get, you know.
That's what I mean. Now Merle turned into a walker, and that was, and I don't care what nobody say. The fact that he was a racist, I like Merle. Merle brought comedic relief to the show. He was so comedy.
No.
I think he was a good character, but he's a character that he had he had a point where he had to go. Like, I was tired of Glenn and Maggie having to put up with him after what he did to them.
He was an interesting character. He brought complexity to the show.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about Merle. No. What did he call Michonne again? What was it?
What was it? A Nubian
queen?
A Nubian queen. My Nubian queen. But see, and that also is why the show does so well, because they do address those things. They address the fact that, because I think there was something on Tumblr with regard to Merle and whether or not he was a racist. And I had to go back and think, because a racist, quote unquote, wouldn't have gave a shit about Michonne. Take her to the governor, kill her, rape her, whatever. But he didn't. So that is that's the thing. That's the thing. Was he really, quote unquote, a racist? Did he, or was he just an asshole?
He was absolutely a racist. I don't think you can get around saying that. I think he was beginning to see that his racism was caused by ignorance, and that, like, when he actually got to know people, that he couldn't continue to think about them that way, that he was realizing his cognitive dissonance. But he was absolutely, without a doubt, a racist.
But he didn't kill her. He didn't kill her.
I guess you can.
I have to agree with Kay. I mean, he couldn't even pronounce Carugelo. Oh, God. Carugelo? Was it Carugelo?
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but he didn't care. And he Americanized his name. He gave him a completely different name.
But I guess the question is, what is the true definition of a racist? Because if a racist is a racist, right?
I'm sorry, you guys are breaking up. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, something's happening with Lainey then. So for me, I think
frozen.
I guess you can look at racism as being like outright racism, where you've got like the KKK, where they want to kill all people who are non-white. But then you've got like the racism, like I guess it's more insidious. Like people don't realize that they're being racist, but they actually are. And I think that's the most common one. And I think that's definitely been in the show, but it hasn't really been directly addressed. Like I think if you go, like I think about T-Dog, and what I originally liked about T-Dog is they kind of said, "Oh, I'm the only black character, so I'm definitely going to die soon," and then he ended up not dying. But then in the end, he did become that like token black character that just gets killed off really quickly.
And who replaced
so I
T-Dog
think
again?
like they kind of see it.
Oscar.
I'm sorry, what was that?
And they replaced T-Dog with Oscar, and Oscar was brief. It's their cycle.
Yeah, so I mean,
killing the black man.
They kind of like see the racism that they have, but then they just ignore it, which is what happened. I guess that was the symbolism with Noah in the revolving door. Like that couldn't have been by coincidence. They had to have seen the symbolism of that, like having a black man die in a revolving door and then have him like almost instantly replaced by Morgan, and how that's happened constantly throughout the show. Like, so they have to see it, but what are they trying to say about this racism that they have in the show? Yeah, they're not really addressing it. They're not really trying to come up with a solution to it.
They just happen to they have scapegoat.
And it's happening again. So after Noah dies, and we just kind of get Morgan that kind of replaces him. And then in season 6, like we know that they're going to bring in Heath, which is another black man. So I'm guessing probably Father Gabriel's going to die because they've got a quota. They can't have more than 2 black men at a time.
I think Lainey's breaking up.
Yes. Let me see if I can send her a message.
I don't think the Morgan's gonna last.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'm here, but I can't hear you.
Lainey, you're breaking up.
I don't think that Morgan's gonna.
She's gone now, I think. Can you check your mic?
Just because, number one, I mean, it's a critical point unless they're with Jesus.
Lainey.
Outside of that, I don't think more.
I think we've got. Lainey, can you check your the chat? We can't hear you at all.
Check my chat. Okay.
Yeah, just exit and just come back in again because you're breaking up and it's really bad. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Emmy.
Okay.
I guess you can hear me too.
Okay.
You added draw? What's that?
Oh no, I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh. Can you hear me?
I keep hitting the wrong button. Okay, there. I'm back. But Kay, that was really good. Your analogy on the black men and the revolving door with Noah, and then replacing him with Morgan, because you can't only have two black men on the show. That was really good. That was good.
Well, it's stuff that I've been reading. Like, actually, it was Miss Curious who kind of pointed out to me about the revolving door. But definitely, and also on another website that I used to look at, they called it Blacklander. Like, do you know the Highlander? There can only be one.
Yes.
That's what I called it. There could only be one black man at a time.
Yeah.
So first it was T-Dog, then he died, and it was Oscar, then it was Tyrese, and then they brought in Bob, and he lasted for a good while, and then he was gone, and then they brought in Father Gabriel, and it's just, like, you don't really see that same kind of, like, if we don't have one, we can just replace him with another one. We don't have that same feeling with the other people, the other characters. No. Not even with the women. It's kind of like when you lose one, that woman is gone. She's like irreplaceable. Yeah.
Oh, but I just think it really doesn't make any sense. I just find those deaths, to me, unnecessary. I do.
So my problem is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of broke up in the beginning, but I think you're good again. Can you say something?
Who, me?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you guys.
It seems to be a little bit better than it was before.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lainey.
Maybe.
Okay, no, you're breaking up again. Can you try without the camera?
Oh, like turn off the camera? I'm going to turn mine off.
Okay.
Oh, but you can still hear me, right?
I can still hear you, yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's what yeah, just turn off your camera, Lainey.
Oh, okay. Turn off camera.
You guys are turning off your camera. I'm going to turn off my camera, too.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I just want to say, like, I don't think the deaths are unnecessary. I think they are a necessary part of The Walking Dead, that characters are going to die and that nobody's safe, even though technically there are safe characters. I think it's all right to have characters die and to have black characters die or people of color die. It's just the way that they die and the way that their story is told needs to be changed. Like, we don't need to have Noah's death to be the most gruesome death there is. And we don't need...
But it's 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other. So you have Jack. I didn't like the way she died. I didn't like that way that whole thing came about because Dale was so hard pressed to make sure to save Andrea. You ain't think about saving Jackie? Forget the
Exactly.
doctor. That kind of thing.
Exactly.
She died, and but that was also another showrunner. All right, that's fine. But then T-Dog died, and it was a dramatic death. I'm not saying that I agree with how they did what they did with T-Dog, but it was a death. Oh, you killed T-Dog. Why you do that? So I often like to think of things like how they say in Gladiator with Russell Crowe, a good death. T-Dog, I didn't want him to go that early, but it was a good death. It was memorable. Everybody remembers it.
Yeah.
Everybody
And he
remembers
died being a hero.
Everybody remembers Noah's death. Yeah, exactly. And oftentimes they do that to black people. They do that. That a black person is dying for the sake of saving. I hate to say saving somebody white, but that's always the case, isn't it?
That is always the case. And you could go on and say it.
Yeah.
You can say it.
We always go out saving somebody white. And I know that's terrible to say, but the way that the movies are set up and everything, that's exactly how they do. So, but with regards to it, I'm kind of like walking the line with Walking Dead only because now that I'm, getting into this writing in the fan fiction and everything, and I get reviews and everything of people telling me, well, why you do this and this, and you should do this, or they have their own opinions, put it that way. And as a writer, it's like I can't take your opinion in consideration for what I'm writing. It's not original. So like I said, I'm walking the line when it comes to Walking Dead.
Lainey, when I had originally started to write fan fiction, I had a guest tell me, this isn't how it's supposed to happen. And it was like all this blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to say, just shut up. This is from my imagination, okay? This is how I would like for this to go down, okay? And if you don't like it, just go away.
Yeah. So when it comes to the writing for the, I guess season 6 would be the season where I actually go ahead and decide as to whether or not they are sake of me or if they are writing for the sake.
I'm sorry, Lainey, you're completely breaking up.
Yeah, maybe it's a volume. Do I sound bad?
No, you're fine. I can completely understand you, Emmy. It's Lainey. I don't know what it is. What about me? Am I breaking up?
No, you sound good. Yeah. Maybe Lainey, maybe adjust your volume settings because you were breaking up. But I did catch what you were saying. I just think that I really love the show. I love The Walking Dead. I mean, I can tell everyone, on the Melting Top that I was a fan of the comics or the graphic novels even before the show became, what it is. But it's just really, it's hard for me watching some of these episodes, and they do these deaths, and it has to be so over dramatic that it have me like stepping back and looking at it and like, what was the point of this again? Can you please explain to me why you had to kill so and so this way? It's very unbelievable. Um, I don't know.
Right.
And why are you giving so much attention to this one other character when the show is really about Rick and his family? I don't know. I don't know. I just hope they get back on get back to things by season 6.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting very antsy, and I love the show, but I do not see that the powers to be is in the mindset. What was that, lady? Let me turn my chat on.
Okay, so I guess she's saying that the powers that be are still in this old mindset, or the Hollywood mindset, that is what? What is the
Oh,
old Hollywood
old
mindset?
Hollywood mindset. Got it. Yeah, you're right. It is. But The Walking Dead isn't in Hollywood. They're on a set in Atlanta. I mean, in Georgia.
In Georgia.
Yeah, so they need to just change things around. And
I think they need more balance.
Mm-hmm.
And by balance, I think they need to focus on the main cast, but like I guess you were suggesting earlier, rotate out the others, maybe give them more screen time, or have less killings, so that when people do die, you actually care about them, other than the fact that they die really gruesomely.
Right. And I think that they should rotate out the secondary characters and keep the main characters keep them focused.
Yeah.
Lainey also said that that people of color are not marketable, and I guess that's what they're thinking. The powers that be are thinking, but
that's definitely not true.
I've noticed that Michonne stuff are off the shelves. It's like it's constantly on back order. So I don't know what the powers that be are thinking, but she is quite bankable.
Right. If they're smart, they would market her more, and they would market Richonne more. They would have Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero on like every cover, and they should do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
Hold on.
Oh, are you telling me hold on?
I guess she. I don't know.
They're in the mindset of old Hollywood.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree. They are. They are. But they're not in Hollywood.
They're not in Hollywood, and Hollywood isn't making that much money anymore, is it?
AMC needs to realize is that they're still fairly new. They're not out there like the ABC and NBC. I mean, AMC, what was it? They just came on like back in 2000. or so, and they were playing Western movies. So I just they have a lot to learn, and they have the opportunity of changing things around and just making I'm gonna have to say this, me and as well as all the other women of color, make us happy, because I've seen things in season 5 that had greatly disappointed me. And I was really glad to see how Empire skyrocketed the way that it did. I was really glad when How to Get Away with Murder skyrocketed the way that it did, because, I mean, look at who the stars are. It's Black women. So it's like they just need to take notice of that and stop putting us in the back.
I think what would help would be giving Michonne more even screen time. So not having her only say a couple of lines in like the first 3 episodes of the season, and then like having her not even be in like 3 episodes of the season. Like they need to stop with that. And balance out her story. So I think she needs that romance, and I think it should be with Rick. But also give her stories outside of the Grimes family. And I think that would make everything, make the whole story so much better.
Right. I wouldn't mind seeing the girls, the women of The Walking Dead. Michonne, Sasha, Rosita, Tara, Maggie out on a run or something. I would love to see an episode like that. Kicking ass, taking names, killing walkers, doing their thing.
That would be amazing. I mean, that's what I loved about the episode. Was it Try? I think it was, like having those 3 women out there together, and then having them kind of bond as well because of it. Like, just that little taste was so nice. So can you just imagine, like, if they had almost every episode like that? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see. I think that they need to do a little bit more integration with all the characters. Just like in 5B, they had all these little separate sects of groups, and they need to bring it. Now everybody has Jesse, right? Everybody has that on the picture, but in my mind, I'm thinking that Michonne, one feeling one way or other about Jesse. I think they're all survivors. Let's get along. And I noticed that they are pinning Jesse against Michonne. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, what?
You're breaking up again, but are you saying that in the fan fiction they have Michonne and Jesse pitting against each other?
I can't speak to that because I haven't really read all that much fan fiction having to do with, like, if I see anything about Jesse in it, like, I kind of just automatically don't want to read it, because I don't want to read anything about her. I don't want her to be characterized anymore, even if she is as a villain. I don't like seeing. I don't see the point of her at all.
No, I agree, Kay. I completely agree. Like 1,000,000%. It's a story in the comic that I felt was irrelevant to his character development.
I'm not sure what it was in the comic that seemed to be important, but
Exactly. No, because it wasn't.
But in the TV series, it was completely unnecessary.
And
I mean,
it was taxing, okay? And it was very false.
It was really contrived. Everything about their interaction was contrived. Like, why did he open the door without his shirt on? Where was everyone else in his family while he was having a shower? Like,
Exactly.
he didn't want them to sleep in a separate house, but he goes and has a shower by himself. Like, where is his family? Like, nothing about their interactions made sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I know. And it was very you're right, it was very contrived, and I'm so glad that's over. And I'm telling you right now, I want to do if if I feel like they're gonna go a completely different route with her on the show, and they're gonna keep her for I don't know, but I already told my husband that I am going to petition a dark day of The Walking Dead. Like, let's see how high the ratings would go if everyone actually stopped watching one episode of that of that nonsense.
you're going to campaign to get people to stop watching?
Well, for one episode, yeah, for that one, like just one episode, like how to get everyone to not watch an episode, to show them that you know what, you're not listening to us. We're telling you what we want to see. You say that you listen to the fans, you believe in whatever the fans have to say, but are you listening to us? And I mean, when I say us, I mean me, like us. Like.
Well, I mean, I definitely think that they need to appeal more to Black female audiences, but I think also just like female in general, like the stories that they have written for all of the women have been like the women have been sidelined, and like the romance is not very well written at all either. And I think that's across the board, not just for Black people, but like these writers, they just don't seem to understand how to write a story about women other than Carol, which I think is a major problem.
Yeah, of course. And you know how my feeling is about Carol.
Yeah.
You've given all the best, I don't want to say all the best scenes in line, but why just story her?
I think my issue with her is the airtime. Like,
I see the mousy.
I don't necessarily like her story so much because her story has made me dislike her. And so.
And it's not Melissa's fault. I love Melissa. She's amazing. But why give her all those lines and all of those scenes? I mean, I didn't see her like threatening Sam. I actually thought maybe Rosita or Sasha would do something like that, because Sasha is heavy in the post-traumatic
stress disorder.
Yeah. She had that. I see the mousy side going to Tara, perhaps, because Tara is like the comedic relief. So I could see her doing something like that with the guns, trying to get it off of her shoulder to give it to Olivia. I was like, no, that should have been Tara. Tara should have been doing that. It was like all these scenes, I saw someone else doing that.
Ladies,
like Maggie visiting the people, the elderly people. I see Maggie doing that in addition to working with Deanna. Well,
I think Maggie should have been a farmer. Maybe they hinted at it because she said, "Oh, I've got these plans" or whatever. But she should have been farming. Like, they need to be figuring out how they can, get food from a source other than going out on runs, because that's not going to last forever. They need like renewable resources. So that's
Right.
what Maggie should have been doing. She should have been farming. Rick should have been helping her. Or
Lady, what are you talking about? Tara is not funny. Come on. Tara is funny.
Well, I can see Tara being funny, but I do not like Alana Masterson at all. Like, whenever she's on Talking Dead, just like she just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking, and she's trying to be funny, but I don't find her funny.
Okay, yeah. As far as the Talking Dead, I do agree. I didn't like her in that episode. I did not, but I was just pointing out some of the scenes that they completely gave Carol, that they could have easily given to one of the other women in the group. Like, for example, Michonne should have opened the door to Jesse and not Rick.
Yeah.
That's who should have opened the door. And that would have been very interesting for her to see, for the audience to see. It should have been Michonne opening the door. It just all this stuff. I'm sorry, but I think season 5 completely exhausted me over the direction and the way that they have done the black male characters of the show. And I hope that they don't kill Heath off, because he was a valuable asset in the comics. And who else do we have? Morgan.
We got Morgan. So my question is,
Morgan
is going to die? Like, I absolutely thought that he was going to die when he first came back. Like, I was so sure that, like, in season 6, the reason why they're bringing him back is just to kill him off, because that's the standard. But now I wonder, and I hope that maybe they won't. Like, even if he doesn't stay in the story, like, he can just, like, go off on his own and do something, and then, like, come back whenever they want to have Morgan in the story. That's what I hope they end up doing with him. Because I don't want any more people to die. I think they could go the whole season without anybody dying, and the show would still be really good and really suspenseful and really interesting. And
right, because the wolves are coming. The wolves, they're coming. So we don't know what's going to happen with that one. I don't know.
Well, I'm expecting people to die. Lainey says they won't kill Heath. I
agree. That's what I said. I hope they don't kill Heath, because he's important to the story. I know that he was on run. He went on the runs in the comic. Maybe he will be on runs with Glenn on the show. So I just want more for. Ladies, I have to go, but I just want to say this. I just want more for Michonne. I would like a female-centered episodes of these characters. Michonne, Sasha, Rosita, and Maggie. I want an episode of just those women. I would like more Rick and Michonne screen time. I would like to know Michonne's last name, and I would like Michonne and Carl episode as well.
I totally agree with your wish list. That would make me happy.
And I don't want to kill any more black men, damn it.
Yeah, I think we've had enough of that.
But all right, okay. Lainey, I have to go.
All right, it was good talking with you.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Okay. Bye. Well, I guess because Lainey's having trouble with her mic, then I'll just end the broadcast now. So I'll see you guys on Tumblr.
Oh,
Bye,
okay.
Lainey.
All right.